If you've ever tried to negotiate with a child, you know it takes skills. So today, strategies to successfully negotiate with your kids. Dr. Joyce Sibbett is here with some advice. And Dr. Sibbett, I have asked myself this many times. Do we even attempt to negotiate with a toddler?
With a toddler? That's a challenge.
With toddlers, you just run the other way, right? That's my general advice.
I would call it pre-negotiation because toddlers can make some choices. My little 2-year-old granddaughter yesterday she was at my house and she said, "I want milk, Grandma." And I said, "Oh, we're out of milk. Do you want to have some water or some juice?" "I want juice." And so that's a kind of negotiation skill. It's giving some choices.
Giving them some options. Okay, so is everything negotiable, or is there some things that we just do not negotiate on?
Well, certainly children don't know as much as parents, right? So we've got to make sure that as parents, we take care of the health and the safety, and those kinds of things are obviously not negotiable.
So health and safety, and you're right. I mean, we're not gonna, early on you teach your kid, don't go in the street, and if they go in the street, it's just,
exactly.
Cut it off quickly.
Yes.
But other things, there are so many choices, right, that are kind of not bad, not a safety choice, not a health choice, something else. And so learning to negotiate with children over those points is different from learning to negotiate with adults, do you think?
Yes, and children, I mean, we as adults need to negotiate all the time. We are constantly modeling for our children ways to do that so that they can grow into adults with those skills. So children are limited developmentally. They get more and more skills in negotiation, but they're always attuned to someone who listens to them and gives them a chance to think and then respond.
And that kind of goes into your first point, which I loved and thought was interesting. Excited to hear your opinion on this. You say that parents shouldn't be as quick to say no.
Yes. Well, once you say no, you've set a boundary. And so you want to make sure, and then you need to follow through. So look for opportunities to give your children some choices. And I'll give you a good example. As a mom, at the end of the day, you've been shopping, you've got your kids with you, you're so tired, you're ready to get out the door, and your 6-year-old says, "Mom, look at the dress in the window, I want that dress." It's really easy to say, "You don't need a new dress," nope, and leave. But that could be an opportunity to say, "That is a pretty dress. We can't buy it right now, but maybe you'll want to think of some ways that you can earn some money so that you could buy that." So it doesn't change the outcome. You're still going out the door, but it's changed your daughter and now knowing, "Oh, you listened to me. You saw the pretty dress. Do I really want to earn it?"
And I think you're right. Sometimes it takes that little bit of extra parenting when you're done. At the end of the day, or whenever your moment comes that you think, "I can't do it," and no is an easy answer.
Yes.
But once you say it, you're right. You set a boundary, and then if you're the one always breaking it, you end up in trouble.
You do.
Personal experience.
Yes.
Yes. So you say to ask for your child's input. How does that help?
When you have an opportunity to get some ideas from a child, go ahead and explore the opportunity. If you were at the zoo and you have 20 minutes left, you can say, "I'd like to go and see the seals. What do you think about that?" And your child says, Timothy says, "No, I want to go see the lions and the polar bears." You can say, "Well, okay, let's go do that." And then we'll see how much time is left. So when and the zoo is all about your child. And so now you're listening and your child's now giving you some preferences and you fit it all in. So look for those opportunities for when you can give your child a chance to make choices, but we're still leaving in 20 minutes, right? That didn't change. We're still leaving in 20 minutes, so your child is aware, "I've got to fit this in that time frame."
Right, and that makes sense. I mean, you've got sometimes that it works and sometimes that it doesn't. And speaking of which, with toddlers, kids who are so young that they don't understand, maybe they don't have the language skills yet, what advice do you have for parents?
Well, without the language skills, your child still can think through some choices, and so typically what you want to do is just lay out a couple of choices. Do you want to put on your blue shirt or your red shirt? And do you want your child to be able to just think through some choices, but the developmentally they're young, so choices are limited.
So choices are limited. And so you give these choices with boundaries attached to them.
Yes.
There's an end to your options here, so stick to one of these options.
Exactly.
Okay, and another point you had is, don't give in to non-negotiable boundaries.
There are some things that are not negotiable. When it comes to health and safety, those are not negotiable, and it's important that once you've set the boundary, that it's there. For instance, when your child gets in the car, it's not negotiable whether or not you sit in the car seat, whether you put your seatbelt on. That's not negotiable. My 2-year-old granddaughter wants to go through the parking lot independently. Mom said, the rule is, in the parking lot, we hold hands. So those kinds of things, those are boundaries, and they're not negotiable.
Okay, and I think there's some truth to that, especially kids learn pretty quickly. I mean, once they've gone through it a couple times and heard their parents say a strong no, but they're often heard. They feel like their parents are hearing those them in the other times.
Yes.
It does kind of give them that freedom to know, I don't cross this line, but I can cross this line a little bit more.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And then you said you adjust tactics as kids get older. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Being willing to let your kids grow up and recognizing their maturity level.
Right. Developmentally, they become more skilled in analyzing and thinking through options, and so you want to recognize that, and you want them to be able to think through options. For example, if your child wants to go to a movie with friends on a Friday night, but it's going to be late when the movie gets out, you've got to make sure your child has the whole plan in mind. Well, you can't walk home late at night. You tell me how you're going to put a plan in place so that I know you're coming home safely. So it gives your child a chance to think within those boundaries. I've got to be safe. How can I make it work so that mom's comfortable with me going to the movies?
And is it ever okay to give it? I mean, if you've set down this curfew of it's 11 o'clock, but gosh, it's a good friendship. I want them to develop this friendship. Can I say, yeah, it's okay to stay out till 11:30? What kind of trouble do we get ourselves in as parents if we're doing those kinds of things?
If you've set a boundary and then you change it, you need to know how skilled your child is in saying, I'm going to try to push through boundaries. I'm going to try to go around the boundaries that mom and dad set. And they're skilled at doing that. So you have to be very, very cautious that once you have a boundary, that your child doesn't cross it. However, there are places within those boundaries. There are some that are non-negotiable, and there are some that are negotiable. So children just need to learn to recognize the difference in that.
Great point. Thank you so much, Joyce. Appreciate you coming on today.
Yes, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thanks.